What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 94 of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that's about Sonic news, and Sonic movie news. My name is Ethan, and with me, surviving this fourth time, is Devin.
I'm looking at my notes, and I don't have a quote.
You didn't write down any quotes?
I thought I had a quote.
There were some good ones in this movie. Now, do I remember any of them? No.
So they're not good.
But I remember seeing a few, I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, I got one. This is all I got. Just don't do anything crazy, all right?
That's the only quote you have?
That's what I've written down. I have maybe 20 notes for this movie, because this movie wasn't good.
Really? All right, we're going to have some thoughts then. But yes,
right.
We watched... we watched... We're going to disagree on all these Resident Evil movies, huh? Except the last one. I think we both were like... We watched, for this episode, the fourth Resident Evil live-action film starring... I almost called her Yo-Yo Yakovich. It's not her name.
Whoa.
I don't know. Yakovich is Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil films. This is Resident Evil Afterlife.
His saga.
Yes. So this movie, released in the year of 2010, it is 97 minutes long, which is nice. We love our hour-and-a-half films here on the Sonic Movie Show.
Please, keep them coming.
Unless they're awesome, unless they're amazing, then just make them go on forever, right? I want them longer if they're amazing, but, like, don't waste my time.
Interstellar, sure. If you're Interstellar, sure. But I don't think we've gotten anything close to that yet. So
I haven't seen that movie since
hour and a half.
theaters.
Hour and a half.
That's my boy. That's my McConaughey.
I remember I got it on DVD for like $5 or Blu-ray for $5 at like Target, and we watched it like the week after we got it, and that movie just, I was like, fuck, why didn't I see this in fucking theaters?
That was the last good Nolan film. Although I don't know why.
I haven't seen his recent stuff, so I can't really...
Dunkirk was okay. It's just not what I wanted, and not what like the name was kind of known for at that point. People were like Inception. You know what I mean? One of my favorite movies is The Prestige. He did that.
I saw Dunkirk.
Yeah,
I had to go back in my brain to be like, did I see that?
Tom Hardy flew a plane in that movie for like the whole movie. Dunkirk. Any case, Resident Evil Afterlife, 2010. Now, I want you to guess what the worldwide box office for this film was, but I'm going to give you some context. First Resident Evil movie back in 2002, $102.9 million. Second Resident Evil movie, which was called Apocalypse, 2004, $129.3 million. Third one, Resident Evil Extinction, 2007, $148.4 million. Now, the video game movie that came out just before this one in 2010 is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Which
so far I think is the best one we've seen, arguably. It's up there.
It was very enjoyable. I would put it that way. It was a live action Disney movie. We talked about that last year. That movie, again, the video game movie that came out just before this one, $336.3 million. How much money do you think this made in the box office? Resident Evil Afterlife worldwide.
Worldwide. So I think when I made sure this was the right movie that we had to watch, I saw it on IMDb, and
because all these subtitles sound like they would be the last one.
I don't remember what it was. I want to say there was a 2 in there, so I'm gonna guess 224 million.
300.2 million.
Oh, see, I was wrong.
Yep. This is the second highest grossing Resident Evil live action movie.
It's crazy that these are making this much money. When growing up, I remember seeing advertising for it, but I never hear anybody being like, dude, I went and saw Resident Evil with my dad last night, and it was crazy. I don't remember any of that. Granted, we were what?
This was 2010. We were sophomores in high school.
Yeah, so you'd think maybe
this was.
I mean, I would have seen it if my dad brought me. You know what I mean?
Very start of the Marvel stuff. Very start, and you can tell because they have a mid-credit scene in this movie. With someone, I don't know who she is, but yeah, this was a movie. I don't know if we're just going to start talking about it. I want to begin, though, and
Which number is this?
this is the fourth one. Where we just started the back half of 6.
Okay.
So there's 2 more after this.
We're getting to the end here.
There's
though.
Retribution, and then there's the final chapter. And then there's animated ones, which we're going to watch, too, at some point. I think the earliest one of those is called Degeneration.
Oh, actually, before we begin, whether or not we liked it, and I just remembered. Remember in the last episode, we predicted what the movie was going to be?
And that's where I'm starting off, because I want to give my thoughts.
Okay.
I feel like this series has a Paul W.S. Anderson problem, but it has a problem with... And I guess I don't know how I want to where to place the blame. Do I place it on the movie not sequel teasing well enough or setting up the next movie well enough? Or do I want to place the blame on the next movie who does not decide to open in any way that resembles the previous movie's ending? I don't know where to shift that blame. Do I shift it for the end of the movie or the beginning of a movie? In any case...
The fact that he's been involved, though, in every single one, there's got to be some blame on it.
For sure.
Just inherently.
It's not like it was just randomly given to a different studio every time and no hands were the same, right? There's a through line, obviously. This is the first time where it's like, oh, you began the way the last one ended, and I expected this. Because we sat there and we're like, how is the next movie going to begin? Because this previous movie, Extinction, ends with her and the girls going to Tokyo to go destroy the Umbrella Corporation. How does this movie open? With that. Okay. Now, granted, there was an extremely long zombie reveal scene for the opening credits that went on way too long. It was stylistic, and I didn't dislike it, but I definitely was staring at my phone a lot during the opening credits. But in any case, this movie opens up in the way I wanted, in the way I expected, at least. We weren't completely given a completely different movie. Remember when the first movie ended, she's like, wow, she's going to have to survive in this destroyed city? Nope, all of a sudden now it's Escape from New York. She has all these fuckers with her. Okay. Next, that movie ends, they're like, okay, she's got a crew with her now. Everyone thinks she's dead. She broke out of science lab. They're going to go save the world. Nope. Third movie, it's just Mad Max. Oh, those people are basically dead, and it's just her. What? Okay. Completely different movie. Mm-hmm. This one, at least, begins the way that the last movie's set up. And I at least appreciate that. The people that were in that previous one are mentioned. That's good enough for me. Remember when Jill Valentine was in the second one? Like, the original Resident Evil character was in the second movie and just vanished. You know what I mean? At least this movie respected its audience to be like, hey, I saw the other one. Can you at least acknowledge that they happened?
See, I'm going to disagree with you with respecting, because I just feel like I was misled a little bit. I don't even remember what my prediction was, but going in, I'm like, okay, the Olympics are on. Japan's on my mind. I thought we were going to be in Tokyo a little longer than the first 15 minutes.
Then that's very fair. However...
And then all of a sudden, oh, never mind.
I'll say I agree, because it eventually goes back to basic-ass zombie movie, complete with the tropes of the different types of survivors, and how, like, we don't actually give a shit when any of them die. The characters do not give a shit when any of them die, except the one guy that is actually likable. The basketball player dude or whatever, the guy that's on the billboard.
Yeah.
But, hey, he's not dead, right? Oh, that's cool. He says something when it's revealed that he's still alive, and I'm like, that's going to be Devin's quote. Now, I don't remember what he said, but it was cool at the time. I will agree with that. However, at least they spent budget on that opening. It was cool, and it was lengthy enough. Now, do I like whoever's playing Wesker? No. I think his acting's terrible, and I feel like I'm kind of growing up in the sense that when I feel like a lot of people our age, their film criticism stems from basically being like, well, this doesn't make sense, because why wouldn't they just do this? If you're talking about a scene in a movie that doesn't line up. Well, people don't do that. They would do this. And I've always kind of felt this way, but I've kind of more and more kind of being like, I don't give a fuck. As long as whatever's happening if it's a mistake or a plot hole, a minor one or not, is in service of the movie and it's cool or gives you an emotion or makes you think, whatever. Yeah, there can be a film that has a giant plot hole of like, we're all trapped inside this building, but the door is open, but we can't go out. Oh, the door's open the whole time. That's a giant plot hole. That's one thing. I get it, right? But if it's something like, oh, he should have seen her, oh, but why didn't he? Like, who gives a fuck?
We watched because you watched the Fast and Furious movies.
Exactly. Well, I mean, yes,
that was your awakening.
That softens you a bit. But like, I don't give a fuck. So like, I'm okay with just this move. The opening I thought was very cool. I thought it was very cool. Now, why does she have no remorse as to why all those people died?
Really?
But I don't. It's cool.
I don't say I don't have issues with the plot. I want to say like there's no like plot holes or anything I have issues with this film. For me, I was just felt misled because I thought it was going to be in one setting. The ending of the last one really, I feel like, set up this like this can be this big battle. It's going to be in Japan. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be like because that was the one prediction we were discussing. Or one of the ideas we were discussing was, what were they going to do with these clones? Was she going to destroy them? Is she just going to bring a couple with them? Like me, I could easily pick out the plot hole of like, how did she get there?
Why are they all kitted out the same way?
Yeah, I mean they all look cool. Yes, this movie just had a lot of Matrix vibes, so I feel like I've seen this before. So that's part of my other issues where maybe I didn't find it as cool as it. There's some moments that are cool, but I feel like overall I wasn't like blown away because I'm like, I've seen this before in 2004 in Matrix Revelations or Revolutions, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like the whole clone army battling the dudes, and I'm like, I don't know. It just felt very Matrixy, especially with the slow motion and in the rain.
And even Wesker does straight up Matrix dodges and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, especially towards the latter end where that fight was so weird. But like, yeah, I can appreciate something like he's committing to this slow-mo, high-action, almost martial arts inspired at moments, action scenes, and I like that. It's cool. I don't know, I just felt very misled in the sense that I thought there was going to be more in Tokyo, and it felt like it just like... Remember that whole like big reveal at the end of the last movie with all the clones? Well, they're all dead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
And we made a point,
and I'm just kind of, I am just kind of bored. Like I'm like, I thought it'd be cool. Like, okay, maybe there's two of them that survive that fight.
I was dead on set with the reveal that the original Alice is dead and the last one is a clone, but they made a point of saying, well, I'm glad to finally meet the original you, and she does look different. You know what I mean? They also were like, which is, you know what? We don't like the fact that she's superhuman, so we're going to get rid of it from her now. She's just gone.
That's another thing. I'm just like, yeah, I just felt like
we decided not to do this anymore.
And then we just decided we don't want to do this. And that's what my issue is like, just... like, do whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. I never really liked her being superhuman in the other ones. Like, that was kind of my thing. I was just like, it's fine. It just whatever. Felt... When she started having mind powers, I was like,
felt
okay,
unnecessary.
so she's a god.
I get that.
Yeah.
She definitely, it was more than fine, more than good enough being just badass with the stuff that she had. Doesn't need the extra things to make us realize that. So I agree with you there. And then maybe that was like a decision of like, hey... Let's, like, make it harder for her again by taking away some tools that she had. I mean, she could literally just energy wave shit with her brain. And when they did that at the beginning, I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. They can do that, you know?
Yeah. And it's also very Matrixy. Neo literally does that kind of shit. So that's why I was like, this is the Matrix. And you're getting it all out now because... and once she lost her powers, I'm like, oh, wow, that really just felt like you really wanted to use her powers one last time, but you also wanted to get rid of it. I don't know, I just felt like they should have not gone down this rabbit hole then, instead of... Because I feel like they kind of wrote themselves in a hole, and it felt like they didn't really know what they wanted to do.
I feel like they're still writing themselves in a hole.
Oh, yeah, they are, but I'm saying it's disappointing because based off the last movie, it made it seem like this was going somewhere, and it really didn't go anywhere. It wound up just being a whole separate story. Like, she got her revenge. Okay.
But the guy is still alive.
But then, like, the bad guy is back.
Well, it's tough to really think...
I just think this plot isn't really that good. It just isn't good. And I feel like it was going... They should have... I was misled thinking it was going to go in that direction, and it didn't. And then it just felt like they were just like, never mind. Sorry about the ending. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. That's my grief with it. You can like it. That's fine. It's not any plot holes or anything. It's more just for my issues with the movie is I was misled going in thinking it was going to be one thing, and it wasn't. Just based off what the last movie was and how this big hype for the ending of that just felt like it was wasted now. Like now if I go back and watch that movie, I'm going to be like, oh, well, I know that.
You're never going back to watch
15 minutes.
Extinction.
I'm not going to. But if I did, I'm going to be like, well, this isn't as cool anymore.
I get you. For me, because I have extremely low expectations, I'm okay with the ride because it's like, whatever. Again, I did not even expect this movie to open with the way the last movie said it was going to, if that makes sense, because of the brain. Dan, I'm so tired.
Zombie.
Because of the zombie in the last movie. No, because of the how they've set up all this whole thing. Or for like, oh, actually, it's not going to be like the last one. Now it's not actually going to be. We're like a completely different genre now. My only real disappointment is that none of the zombie surviving tropes that they did in this movie felt any different than the previous movie's stuff. And it just felt like more.
Or other zombie movies?
Yeah, it just felt like more.
Or I've seen zombie movies that have done it better.
But overall, I mean, I actually did enjoy this movie. I liked a lot of the stuff. Yes, it really felt weird that they decided, hey, we need a Silent Hill monster too. All of a sudden, that dude's not in the games. Cool. This dude's not in the Resident Evil games.
I will say this. Some of the creatures in it are dope and remind me of like Resident Evil 4 or Silent Hill. I'll give it that. My main thing was just the story was just so bad for me. Like it just took me out of it. And I can appreciate for the action scenes. I thought they were cool and the monsters are cool. I'm a big monster guy. You put monsters in your film, I'm going to like it. But like, I don't know. I was just like, the story just kind of just made me immediately fall out of it. As soon as like she lost her powers, I was like, okay, she's gonna fly to this beach. Oh, never mind, everyone's dead. Okay. Oh, there's someone with a spider on her. Okay, sure.
But yeah, they never explained that. No, but
how that works. But whatever. It's just, there's some cool elements to it. I'll give it that. But I will say I just didn't like this. I did not like it.
Okay.
I think I'm kind of over the Resident Evil charm of this being like fun action. I'm kind of just like you aren't improving in each film, at least in my eyes. So like I'm kind of getting, at least Fast and Furious, I feel like once they went in the direction they want to go to, they are improving on it every time for the most part. I feel like it's just going down this what are we going to do now? We need a different situation for her to be in. She needs to meet other people. They're all going to die, most of them. There's got to be some big monster. Okay, there's a bad guy who has some supernatural powers. Okay. Action scenes are cool, but now we took away her powers. Okay, now we're running ourselves in a hole again of what can and can't she do. I don't know. That's just my opinion out of it. I just feel like every movie we're getting into this, I don't even know what to call it, this saga, I'm just kind of feel like it's just losing its touch.
Well, I was gonna say, I actually did like the movie. I liked a lot of the stuff about it. I was gonna say, the overall zombie trope stuff with they gotta get out of a building that's surrounded by zombies was boring, and they didn't do a whole lot with it. But there's just
it's
weird.
Literally, Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
It's literally that plot.
It is just.
It's already been done.
There is just something about like the fact that the character of Alex, Jesus, I didn't even know her own name, Alice, the weirdness of like every single time they feel like they're on a lead of something, it just ends up being just the fucking evil Amazon company in this game. Well, the Amazon company. I should just stress that's the default is evil for Amazon. It's always just them anyway. Everything's just a trap. They own everything. But yet there is always just some lead on of like, okay, well it is this, or okay, well we can do this, or okay, we just gotta blow up the entire building in Tokyo, but then they're still gonna survive anyway. And I do find it a little fascinating of like, we're at the point now where like, this next movie is going to be what? They were captured at the end of this movie by the bad guys, potentially.
Or they're going to fight back. It's the only two scenarios it's going to happen.
And then what's that going to lead to? Wesker seemingly exploded Probably not, though, because whatever. Although I feel like there's not much else to do with that character. But knowing Paul W. Sanderson, it probably doesn't matter.
Going back to the Matrix thing, it's like a Mr. Smith knockoff,
Yes.
but like zombified. 100%. I'm just like, come on.
And I don't know the Resident Evil games all that much to know really what Wesker's like in those games. Maybe he's exactly like this. Yeah. But most likely he's probably not like this in the games. They also have just this like fear of using Leon because Resident Evil 4 came out in what, 2005?
7?
No, Resident Evil 4 was a GameCube game.
I'm thinking because I had it on PS2, 3, whatever.
It got ported like to everywhere in multiple places.
Yes, that's probably why
it initially was a GameCube game. I think it was 2004. In any case, I'm like, because that game was so popular and the character was so endearing. And this very Discord call thing, I sent you a screenshot of someone's post, and their profile picture is of Leon.
It's Leon. Yeah.
I named my Dungeons and Dragons character after him. Because of that, like, they just don't want to use that character. But Claire, cool. Chris, cool. Jill, I guess, was cool at one point to use. Whatever, right? Wesker, sure. Nemesis, fine, sure.
The one of the bigger bad guys
right.
of Resident Evil. Even if you've never played a Resident Evil game, you probably know of him or know what he looks like.
Resident Evil 3 was called Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and he was on the cover. So, like, yeah. But I really did enjoy the opening. I enjoyed the Matrix-y parts of it. I even enjoyed how, or I liked the fact that this character is, like, just going to go the distance for all this stuff. A little weird that she was doing like the journal stuff, and Claire,
like for who?
Yeah, just to keep from going sane. But like,
I guess
I feel like you've done this so long, I don't think it matters. You were literally like fucking doing Thunderdome shit last movie. So
also, she also has some blame in this whole world ending. Right? So maybe, like, because that's what she talks about. She's like, I want to fix this, and I'm like, there's a lot of blood on your hands. It's over.
Well, what really is her fault?
Wasn't she like brainwashed? She's the one that like started the whole thing. Someone remember what the first one was. I remember her being like, what she was like in like not a coma, but just like she was.
I don't know if anything was her fault besides that she at one point worked for the company, but this was before the first movie.
Whatever.
In any case, like, she's the super weapon and blah, 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 and other things were born out of that. So I guess, sins of the father are yours inherently. But I liked landing the plane. I thought that was cool. I don't know, there's a lot of the stuff that I liked about this film. If I were to rank them right now, and you're not going to like this ranking, it would go 2, 4, 1, 3. Inherently. I liked Apocalypse a lot more than you did.
I like Apocalypse more than this one.
2, 4, 1, 3. The official ranking of the Sonic Movie Show. We'll see where Retribution and the final chapter end up. But yeah, no, my overall feeling is that, like, this is, like, instead of this series being a ramp up in scope, in crazy shit that gets executed well, in threats, in, just one, like, we have a ride, we know, either the audience know where we're going, or it feels like it's a logical build up. This movie instead of this, and I'm drawing a picture with my finger, but picture just like an arc upwards, a line graph that just goes up, right? Instead of that, this franchise is anal beads, where it's just a straight line, and then you do a little hump, and then you go straight, and then you do a little hump, and we just crossed the fourth hump, where, like, this movie ends in a way that it could have began, the way the last movie could have began, and the way that the previous movie could have began.
When you think about it, it just feels like here's another just
reset point
of Alice.
Exactly. Although this time she's not as cool, but, like, didn't matter in the end. Yeah, like, I don't know. What else is there to say about this movie? I don't want to recap this movie. I guess we could.
No.
Overall, again, the Tokyo stuff at the beginning blows it up. Wesker blows up the whole building. So as far as we know, it's just him that's
I will give him
Umbrella
credit.
Corp.
I'll give him credit. He had a button that was 10 seconds instead of something like even in Resident Evil games or just in classic like movies
It's
or
like
whatnot. It's always
20
like
minutes.
a minute, like or 20 minutes, something long enough to like for everyone to like some people to survive.
Yeah.
Like no, he's like, this is 10 seconds, bro. This is going up.
This is
like,
for
I'm like,
me
okay.
to
I'm like,
escape.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I
press this
that.
on my
like,
way
someone
out.
was smart in the design
Yeah,
of
yeah,
this. Someone's like, yeah, let's make a button that's 10 seconds. Even though that's very scary if you accidentally press it and you're like, oh shit.
There's nothing
sometimes,
you
like,
can
maybe
do about this.
You're in the bathroom. You're in the bathroom. You have your pants down, and it's like when you're putting your pants down, it presses the button, and you hear it beeping. And you're like, fuck, and you're like messing with it, and then like you have to press the button to turn it off. Like you only have 10 seconds.
That's true.
To turn that
then
shit off.
So
That's
then
the
you
one
drop
danger.
it in the toilet.
That's the one danger.
And it gets wet, and you're like, oh
no.
You want to do the toilet paper?
No, that would have been funny if he threw that in there. Like that's how they show it ahead of time. It's him in the bathroom, and it falls in the toilet or something. He's like, fuck.
But
and he has to disarm it quick, but he's like real confident in himself. He's like, oh, I got it with like 1 second to spare or something. That would have been funny.
Got to replace the button though because it's all wet with pee water.
Pee water.
But yeah, basic recap of the film: Tokyo, all the clones die, but also cause them to blow up all of Umbrella Corp, which I believe we were told to believe that was the remaining headquarters of them. I think
it felt
very
way.
definitive.
Or at least
like
it was like the one.
We're going to get them, right? I wouldn't be surprised too, by the way, if there might have been cameos in that Tokyo sequence of Capcom and people. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. If they ever were to, that's probably how they would do it. Who knows? It'd be cool to like. I worked on creating Resident Evil. Now I work at Umbrella Corp in the movie. Right, as a fun cameo.
There was one, and once again, plot holes are, like I said, it's just for the imagination. Don't take it too seriously, especially in a movie like this. But I did think I would like my brain was naturally thinking, I'm like, who's working here and why? Like, what would you like?
Fear.
Money is gone.
Fear.
Yeah, fear. I'm like, the only thing I was thinking, I'm like, at least you're not out there with zombies.
Right.
But I just thought it was funny. I'm like, imagine waking up, you're like, I guess gotta go to work because I have nothing else to do. Like we're
That's
almost.
true.
Like,
I mean, hey, we've never truly experienced an actual apocalypse, so I guess
I think that was what my brain was thinking when I was watching him. Like this one dude who like clearly hates his job is typing on the computer, and I'm just like, he has no other choice. He's not even doing this for like living. He's doing it for to live, but he's not doing this to like feed his family or anything. He probably just has like some bunk in this giant headquarters.
Yeah.
Someone should do that. Do a spin-off. You can do your classic The Office, but make it Umbrella, and it's just like what would your day-to-day?
That's what the name of the show is, Umbrella.
Called Umbrella, yeah. But then like the ending of that show is just Alice.
It's just the opening of this movie. Yeah. No, yeah. So first like 20 minutes or so is that all the clones die in the explosion. They were trying to kill Wesker, but Wesker flies away. But Alice, the real Alice, is in the ship, and they fight. He injects her with something that just happens to neutralize the thing that makes her cool, but is also the thing that I think was supposed to be killing her. And then he goes to kill her, but he decided, the plane's going to crash now. She survives or whatever, but she's human. Now she's flying to Arcadia in Alaska, which is where the people from Extinction were going. She was going to actually destroy Umbrella Corp.
I did like that. That's one of my positives. I did like that. I'm like, okay, you are tying it back. You're not because, like I said, once they start taking away her powers and destroying all the clones, it really felt like they were just like killing off everything that they worked up to this point. So I'm like, at least there was some sort of connection to the other films. At this point, I'm like, okay, you're gonna go to here. What is she gonna find? I'm interested.
Yeah,
wasn't loving it, but I was like, okay.
The result was disappointing, obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what? It was weird in how it was executed. Seeing planes all over the place. Who the fuck parked a helicopter in trees? It's cool though. And at the very end is an Umbrella helicopter.
Yeah, it was like a plane. It was like a plane graveyard.
Yeah, straight up, that was the plane graveyard. And in the Resident Evil games. You didn't know there was a class. No, I'm kidding. But in any case, yes.
I'm like, you honest, that sounds like something they would
My
do.
brain jumped to Train Graveyard from Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, oh, there's got to be a plane graveyard. Remember when Disney took the Cars universe and made its own animated movies about planes?
Yeah.
They made like at least
Didn't
2 or 3
see
of those. My cousin's first movie in theaters was Planes, Fire, and Rescue. And I'm like, at least you got to see a...
You went with them?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if you saw it. You said it in a way like as if you maybe didn't
No, I
see
did.
it. Like,
I
you just
did
knew
went
that,
with him.
Like, as a
I went
fact.
with him. Yes.
Oh, so hey, that's
we got to see a trailer for the
first...
second Ninja Turtles movie.
You'll remember that when he's all grown.
Yeah.
You'll be like, hey, remember when we saw Planes, Fire, and Rescue?
I don't know what my first movie was, but I know other people's.
I want to say mine is like my earliest memory is Tarzan, and I cried when the gorillas started screaming. So my grandparents took me out of the theater.
Jesus,
that's my earliest memory of a movie, like in theaters. I'm sure I saw something before then, but yeah, Tarzan, not a good experience.
Mine was probably either a Pixar movie like Toy Story 2 or Monsters Inc.
Could have been Toy Story.
Toy Story was 1995.
But what month?
1995?
Yeah, what month? You were born in February. You got a whole 10 months there, dog.
Yeah, no. Or the Santa Claus might have been it too, with Tim Allen. I remember my dad took me to see that. I did not know you spelled clause differently than that movie's title. I didn't understand that was the joke. It was a clause in the contract.
Oh, because they sold the C, right?
No, CLAUSE, as in a clause in a contract, not Santa Claus.
I thought it was like the C rather. Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, I didn't even realize. I realized that now. That makes sense.
He kills Santa Claus by accident and is forced to become Santa Claus. That's the clause in the Santa contract. It's Highlander shit, straight up.
He's canceled.
He's always been Republican. He was never not canceled.
No, didn't he he didn't beat his wife or something, right?
No, but he did.
He did something.
He did go to prison for coke, and he ratted out all of his crew to save his career and get out of prison. So he's a bitch.
You don't snitch.
He's a bitch.
You don't snitch. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's Buzz Lightyear. That's about the only positive thing about it. But you know who is Buzz Lightyear now? Chris Evans. So fuck him.
Hopefully, he's not on coke.
I mean, you can be on coke. It's fine, but you ratted out your boys.
Yeah, you don't
exactly.
do that. You don't do that.
You know who didn't rat out on the boys? Claire Redfield, only survivor from she doesn't know who she is. She's got a metal spider on her chest.
She doesn't look too good either. I thought she was a zombie, to be honest. Or hold up, I'll actually say I thought she was like because they've done this in like the Dawn of the Dead, not Dawn of the Dead, but the Living Dead movies, where like as the dead have lasted longer, they start to have gained some sort of intelligence, like they start holding weapons and stuff. So I thought when she was coming after her with a knife, she was more like a trained zombie of some sort.
She definitely was
cool. Then it
wasn't. She wasn't healthy, and then in the plane she was normal. So
she had makeup on. She looking
well. I mean, that's
good.
just the way movies are.
I know. I just thought it was funny. I'm just like, she's like, okay, I got a glow up. I'm assuming Alice did that. I didn't know Alice can give people glow ups like that. It's one of her powers.
Hey, she doesn't have powers anymore.
That's one of the powers she kept.
She has the metal spider on her chest. Tiny plot hole when the flashback where they throw it on her. It's clearly sitting over her shirt. Here it's under the shirt. But you know what? They just wanted to give the gamers out there a little tease when Alice goes to pull it down to see the spider. Any case, she doesn't remember her.
You think that was the intent?
I don't know, but I did think I did think like, wait, are she going to take her
shirt off and her bra was on with it on? Then maybe, but yeah, that would be really on the nose.
She takes her. She's like, I don't know where to go. We're flying somewhere. Where were they going to fly? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I don't remember. I remember she
said somewhere, right?
They were like, we're going to go to L.A. That's all I remember. But I don't remember why.
Yeah.
Because there was something about the coordinates, maybe. I think something like that. There's other coordinates, but the coordinates wind up being on that cruise ship.
Something like that. In any case, they're flying over. There's a building that has help written on it, and they're here. They're gonna save us, and we land, and like it's a perilous.
It's a small ass plane. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm just like
the landing of the plane was neat. I enjoyed that. It made sense. It was cool. Even later when they're like, we'll just fly off, I'm like, y'all realize how hard that was. You want to do that with less people and less people and less people? No.
I also thought it wasn't until later that like I appreciate it was when the basketball dude jumped and like held on the plane. I was like, that was weird. Is he like have superpowers or something? And then like they're like, oh no, he's a basketball player. I'm like, okay,
you didn't
extra,
see he had the Michael Jordan
I
tank?
thought he was just wearing a shirt, but yeah, I did see that later. Once he mentioned it, I'm like, oh, that's
it was like the first thing I noticed. I'm like, branding. We got that sponsorship.
They should have had Michael Jordan be in it.
Fuck, that would have been nice. How's LeBron James acting in that Space Jam movie? I heard it was real bad.
It was fine, but like everyone was just kind of fine. It was fine.
I had fun.
I can if it's for kids, whatever.
I heard the Don Cheadle apparently was having the time of his life on that movie. I'm like, good for you. But apparently
he was the best actor.
Well, I mean, obviously he's Don Cheadle.
Years.
Apparently, what I heard, someone say that the Looney Tune grandma character had more like screen time than like characters like Tasmanian Devil. And I'm like, that's offensive to me. She's like a D-list Looney Tune. My boy Taz, he's at least B, if not A. And if we're adding S tier, then he's definitely A.
They had the Martian in it. I thought that was cool. He's my favorite guy. I don't know anything. I never watched Looney Tunes, but if I had to pick a favorite guy, I'd pick the Martian.
I like Daffy because he was a fucking bitch. I thought that was hilarious. You see in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I watched a couple years ago for the first time.
It's a good one.
Classic scene in that movie: Donald Duck and Daffy Duck having a piano duet off, where they're dueling each other with music. Very good. We need more movies like that. We need more like Disney being like, you know what, we can make $1 trillion. But Sonic, we can make an extra $2 if we just work with another company and we code the thing. Cool. But if they do that again, it's going to end up looking like the Space Jam movie. It's like, remember all of the movies we've ever made? Remember Mad Max? Here's scenes from that movie, and we're just going to animate on top of it.
I will say Mad Max LeBron, that was kind of dope. Like, did he just take out everything else in that film? Like just his makeup and shit. Like I'm like, fuck LeBron.
Someone posted that on Twitter. That scene. I'm like, wow, they just fucking took that because I heard it was just Warner Brothers everything in there for no reason.
Yeah,
I'm like, huh?
Because it was like Warner Brothers verse.
Yeah,
like there was different planets, and one of the planets was just Mad Max. So I'm like, that's a terrible hell to live in, where you're just cycling through like dehydration and
Wile E. Coyote huffs paint.
Weather.
Never thought I would see the day Wile E. Coyote huffs paint in 2021.
That does happen. I thought that was funny. I was like, that's good. I like that.
Maybe they didn't realize that's what that was in that movie.
That'd actually be really funny if like they did in the movie. I don't know. Just make him do it.
Imagine trying to get that shit off your teeth.
You're not, because you're dying.
Oh, that's right. They die when they do that.
Like that's they know they're going out, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. Even darker then. Any case, we land on the building. We meet the crew. It's very stereotypical. There's an asshole. There's a timid guy that is with the asshole. There's a girl. There's a cool guy that has a cross around his neck. You know he's trustworthy. And you got a basketball player, someone that is... that's not the stereotype, or that's not the trope, but like someone that you can depend on. He's the leader. He's the good guy. He's the guy you want to live the most.
When you're down 3 in the 4th,
exactly,
and you need to hit it. You're down 2 in the 4th.
You want the guy that's selling watches on that billboard.
He has the ice in his veins, and ice on his wrist.
Yeah.
But not in this movie. But on the ad, he did.
And you also have the standard prisoner that may or may not actually have done the thing they claim he to have done.
That's another arc in this film where I was like waiting for something to happen, and then they're like, no, he was actually chill this entire time. I'm like, I mean, that's surprising. I'll give you that. But
what's the proof that he killed a whole bunch of people? We just think. Why else would he be here? Like, excuse me?
Right. To me, I think the context is needed. Yeah, I definitely would have been like context before like, were you a murderer before the apocalypse or afterwards? Because that's 2 different things.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they said Chris, I'm like, oh, this is going to be Chris Redfield, Claire Redfield's brother. easy way to solve that when they see each other. And this is, again, plot holes, but like this one just felt a little bit annoying where I'm like, it's really hard to forgive this plot hole for just being like, whatever, is this in service of the movie? This is not in service of the movie. But because they were going to let him out for no reason, well, not for no reason, but they're without any resistance later, I don't think it's that bad. But when he does see her and he's like, Claire or whatever, is like, oh, I'm your brother. All you guys had to do would be like, all right, so what's her last name? Redfield, which is mine. And then, oh my God, you do know her. Instead, like, they didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's very obvious.
Yeah, it seemed very like,
y'all can just say a little bit more.
Yeah, just elaborate. Yeah, a little.
Like,
no, that was just a weird arc. And then because she had the memory loss, and then like that. Like, the reason she had memory loss was so that, like, us as the audience can not know things to make it more of a surprise at the end. But at the end of the day, I wasn't really, like, once again, blown away by any, like, the reveals. Like, oh, my God, it was Umbrella. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
It always is.
Of course it...
When is it not?
Like, like, it was a different corporation, I'd be like, okay, it's Rain this... I don't know what's the opposite of Umbrella. I was thinking Rain booties.
Exactly,
something.
the sun.
The sun.
Parasol.
Sunscreen.
You have Umbrella, and then you have Parasol. They're both the same thing, but, you know, they have different intentions.
Rihanna.
That's Umbrella Corp, because she sucks.
No, we're on Team Rihanna over here. Call it Rihanna.
Oh, and another trope of person there's a perv. Alice.
There always is.
Yeah.
There's always is in these, like, jail.
I haven't seen another woman besides, like, the one that's an actress. But okay, I'm going to hide while Alice takes a shower.
And be real loud.
She never ended up taking that shower. She probably stanky.
But they all look so good. I'm like, y'all been showered. You're fine.
It's whatever.
You didn't need this. Like,
I mean, it's the apocalypse. Good. She's probably cleaner than when she was in the desert. So, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, she didn't have the powers anymore. So
she was near that beach. She could just probably take a dip in there, get in the airplane, air dry off that way.
Salt water.
You can bathe in it. It's not gonna be clean, but
I guess
it's still better than no water.
To be fair, I've never done that before, and I've been in the ocean like maybe once. So,
I mean, it'll be salty, smelly, but that's better than being like, wow, you like, did you shit your pants? Smelly.
I guess we have different tastes and smell.
This is Alaska too. The water's cleaner there.
Probably. Another trope, the building is surrounded by zombies, but guess what? Now the zombies have found a way to finally burrow in, and now they're popping in. Also, they have face huggers inside their mouths.
That was very Resident Evil 4. Remind me of that. Not exactly, but like, because later on in that game, right, the zombies, like, heads explode and like those weird like tentacle knife wielding thing pops out and you have to shoot it again.
I mean, it makes it...
It's just completely random zombies.
It makes it so that, like, even a single zombie is a threat if it's on you, because it can just face hug you to death, as opposed to, like, and you just kind of push it off, you know what I mean? At least every single one of those is a threat. So, okay, escape route. Chris knows it. They let Chris out, and then they go down the hole. A couple people have died by now. There is a anxiety-inducing, but not nearly as bad, swim through the basement scene. Totally remind me of Metal Gear Solid 2, which did give me anxiety back in the day when I played that. And then they get out fine. They kill off...
Yeah, underwater scenes always stress me out, because I'm like, there's no way I could breathe underwater that long. Even if my life depended on it, I don't know if I could do it.
Where or when you'd be able to breathe again. You don't know where you're going.
Swimming through that, they're like, we're gonna.
I'll swim by. You can see bubbles coming out of her mouth. I'm like, girl, you don't got too much time. Like, you know what I did know? Maybe you know this because you did sports that involved running. If you, then you're oxygenating your blood before you actually hold your breath, so it's easier for you to actually hold your breath for longer. Do you know about that?
I mean, usually if you're panting...
That's what swimmers do, apparently. Divers.
I don't know. I did cross-country. I mean, that's long-distance running. I mean, usually with running, it's like keeping a rhythm. Half of it's a rhythm game with like your lungs and balancing your oxygen levels, because if your oxygen levels, aren't good, that's when you like can't hold your breath as long, or you start getting lightheaded and all that. So like every time I've swam and try to hold my breath for a long time, it is really hard to do. I haven't tried the whole breathing really quick a couple times, but I don't know.
That's one of the things I had learned of, like, if you ever going to go underwater and you don't know how long, you do that to oxygenate your blood, and then you hold your breath, and it's easier. But at the same time, if you're flailing around a lot, then you're expending all that oxygenated blood, and you probably have to. In any case.
Yeah, I think half of it's mental, too, just, like, keeping calm and
carrying on.
Also, I've done it before. Have you ever opened your eyes, like, underwater without, like, goggles on or anything?
No, I'm deathly afraid of that.
I've done it before, like, in a pool, and it's, like, chlorine gets in your eyes. It kind of hurts after a while. But every time I see, like, this in movies or TV shows where, like, people are opening their eyes under, like, this murky water, I'm like, one, you probably can't see anything, and two, like,
infection.
That is so fucking dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there could be just, like, fucking glass shards, crystallized.
There's so many things.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Fish. They're eating your eyeballs out. Those are soft.
Because that's like directly into your bloodstream. It's like in your eyelids there.
Okay.
I believe.
They make it up the other side, and they make it outside. Oh, it's so great because...
Oh, the one girl's taken by that zombie, though. Care. And I thought they were going to go save her, and they're like, nah.
they get the easy way out by just having a whole bunch of zombies come out of the water. So it's like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm like, damn.
So they're just like, we don't actually care. I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
First guy to die was the perv. I don't think she gives a shit. This woman died. They don't even have a word about it. They just zombies, and then they were
not even like fuck.
No,
like not even like no Sarah or whatever her name was. Like just
they all make it outside. Awesome. We got a super armored vehicle we can tune up, but it's behind this locked door, so we're gonna need someone to torch cut through it, the lock to open it up. Meanwhile, we need weapons. Chris knows where the weapons are. Alice and Chris are gonna go get it. And also now, the gate, which was fine before, now also has the own version of Silent Hill's Pyramid Head for this movie. 100% ripoff of that.
Nailhead.
100% ripoff of that. Just...
When was the Silent Hill movie again? 2004, right? 6?
It was 2000.
Not saying it could have been based off the game, but like maybe they saw that in the movie version, too.
2006.
And we're like, that's cool, we need to do that.
Yeah, very.
Because they didn't have a nemesis. I almost said behemoth. That's like a character name. It sounds like a character name for a big.
Well, they used Nemesis in Apocalypse in the second movie, and then that was
bring him back.
But they could have brought any of their big guys back. Bring back the Tyrant, Mr. X. I don't know.
Hulk.
The Ang Lee movie, or even just the Hulk movie was the year prior. Cool. He's just gently tapping on that gate. Whatever, all the zombies are doing it. So you got basketball guy and Claire trying to block the thing. You have
the one guy shot the other guy for like not knowing how to fix.
We'll get there. Hold on, we'll get there. Then you have asshole guy and cool guy with cool, reliable. You can tell he's a genuine person.
He was the intern
because
he was the intern. They said for the other guy. That's why I kept following him.
That's not who I'm talking about. I actually don't know where he is. He's probably hanging around behind the asshole guy. But the cool, reliable guy, and you know he's a good person because he has a cross around his neck and he talks gently. That guy, he's the one that's actually using the blowtorch to cut through the lock. So they're doing that. Then Chris and Alice, because they're the most badass, are going back into the building to go find the weapon vaults. How do we know it's all there? Because by the end of it all, there were more guns than people. Okay, cool. So we have 3 planes of action, even though 2 of the planes are right next to each other, and one of those planes is just standing there, just cutting through a lock with no tension, just waiting it out. In any case, we're hopping back and forth at stuff. There's zombie shit. Who cares? We're speeding through that, right? Torch eventually cuts through. Fence comes down or something like that soon, but they put a car in the way or something. Who cares? They go inside. They could see the giant armored tank. I don't think that actually seats 20, as Chris said.
It's big,
but looked like a tank.
There's like 3 of them are left at this point.
I mean, sure.
It's an armored vehicle. You can fit some.
They can run over them all. But guess what? The engine is sitting on the other thing, and you can fix that, right? Yeah, in like a week. And then he shoots him. He's like, I have a better idea.
Did you even give him a chance to like finish his sentence? He's gonna like, but maybe I can.
Maybe we could just put it inside and see what happens, right?
That could have also been it.
Or guys, open up the hood of the tank and just see if there's one in there. It could have been fine. Whatever, they were never going to do that anyway. Shoot some... we make it up to the roof. All of us are there. Intern guy is standing next to the plane with asshole guy in it. Intern guy is hesitant to even get on. Everyone's like, no, don't do it. He shoots someone, doesn't he? Doesn't asshole guy shoot someone?
I think he shoots at them, but they doesn't hit him. But then on the plane he falls.
Yeah.
Or crashes. Or do you think he crashes and he doesn't?
Yeah, it is kind of cool to see him run over a bunch of zombies, or at least decapitate a bunch. You can just see streaks of red down there. I was kind of hoping that he goes to do that, and Alice, when they're standing there, Alice is like, I was like really low on gas, and you just see the plane then just stop and fall.
See, right there, you should have been in the writer's room, dog.
That would have been great. That would have been hilarious. But they needed him just the bootlick Wesker at the end. I don't know why. Who gives a fuck? New plan. We bomb the elevator. Everyone goes down. Alice,
that was
Tarzan.
Cool. I like that.
And I was like, okay, they're gonna hit the water, or they're gonna hit the bottom and die. Oh no, they hit water. Okay, that's smart. Appreciate that. Alice Tarzan's down the building, avoids all the zombies that were falling, but like, hey, good for her.
Tomb Raider.
Exactly. Anything. The explosion did not destroy the cable. Or the thing.
I was like, okay, sure.
But hey, whatever, right? You know, action star.
She watched Lara Croft. She knew.
And you know how good she is. You know how Lara Croft she is. As she's falling, somersaulting through the air, she pulls out her guns and is already planning out who to kill down there before even trying to mentally gymnastics her mind to allow herself to prepare to land at all. She's already
that's why she's a goat.
Steps ahead. You know, she's great. She's amazing. I think, honestly, honestly, God,
it's her brain.
By the way, sidestep. I think she has been great acting for her in this movie. I don't have anything negative to say about her performance.
She's never been
cool
her performance. Never been negative. I don't think.
Besides maybe the first one, but like different tone for what the character is.
Different times.
That was 2001, right? No, 2002. Yeah. Yeah, it's just getting going, and they're going, and they're getting. And
can we just get to the cruise ship? We're at the cruise ship.
They get on a boat and they go to the cruise ship. It's just Claire, Chris, and her. But no, there was the big fight with the big guy in the bathroom, where
he's in slow mo.
He cuts intern in half. And I'm like, holy shit! They don't give a fuck about him though. The quarter shotgun, that's cool. Claire does the Black Widow pose.
That was cool. They hinted at that in the beginning. Yeah, she did do the Black Widow pose. It's funny we just saw that movie that I did think of that too.
And then she stands up and she's standing there wet because there's water spraying everywhere because it's it's like the bathrooms and the violence in the bathrooms causes pipes to burst. She's standing there wet and we're staring at her forever. And we go back. Nope, because then it gets back up, and then Alice comes and just shoots it. Its head just turns to tomato paste. Just pasteurized, vaporized. I'm like, cool, it's dead. That's how you know zombies are dead. You cut the head off. Now we're on cruise ship. Oh, it's an umbrella one. It was never actually real Arcadia. It was just to trick remaining survivors to test on them. For whatever reason, but hey, that's just how this series is.
For the product that people won't buy because they're all dead. No one can buy the product.
I don't think it has anything to do with that anymore. I think it's just about trying to get rid of the zombies and then just existing but like the bad way about going about it. I guess who cares? Wesker's there. We fight zombie dogs that split in half.
Zombie dogs are always cool. I always will take zombie dog. I'll give them credit for bringing them back. And I like how they were kind of like pets. That's dope. Yep. They're domesticated.
Yep.
I would take one, but they're probably messy.
Turns out he wanted to be like Alice. That's how he was able to survive. But
jealous.
Guess what? She's not as good as her. She was able to survive, but he needs to consume flesh or something. And that's totally what happens to asshole guy at the end. He eats him or something. I don't know. They fight him. It takes forever. It's not even interesting.
Shitty Matrix. Yeah.
The girl named Kmart from the last movie is alive on this boat. A bunch of people are alive on this boat.
Hey, Kmart's still alive today too.
Are they?
Hanging on.
They? I don't even know if there's any Kmart's around. Did they all go under? Is Sears around too? And the ones
Sears is alive in Florida because all the boomer white suburbanites
they need new
still
dishwashers.
buy there.
they need
that dishwasher.
They need to buy a fridge. And God forbid they'll go to like Macy's. But sure.
I don't think Macy's does Macy's have fridges.
They have appliances. You can get cookware and shit there.
You can get fridges at. To be fair, I like go to Macy's like once every 5 years for like Christmas shopping. I'm like, does Mom want something here? I don't know.
The mall back at home has 2 Macy's in it.
That's right, because no one else wanted it.
No, because they bought cough bins, I think. At least that location. And they just turned into a second Macy's. I'm like, whatever. Macy's 1 and Macy's 2. But yeah, we fight. We blow everyone up. Wesker's dead.
Everyone's saved.
Chris
too.
and Claire just eat lead. Mad Hazard, this guy, just pumping bullets straight into his body. He's dead. They leave. Oh, wait, he's not. But then, he gets on a helicopter and tries to blow up the ship, but they were smart enough to put the bomb on the helicopter. Boom.
He should be dead, hopefully.
I hope so. I hope so. But it's going to be a thing, Devin. We'll predict. We're actually, we're going to predict what the next movie is. We're going to predict it. But everything's good. We have my brain jumped to this idea when I saw all of the test subject people all wearing the same outfit, the white shirt, white pants, kind of very almost uniformly filtering out of the building cabin, I guess you would call it, out into the main decks. And I'm like, are they gonna flash mob dance? Like, it's very weird.
I thought one of them was gonna be a zombie and like it was gonna escalate from there. But
toward the very end right now, Alice turns the radio transmission off and then repeats it herself verbatim because she's probably heard it hundreds of times. So that makes sense why she knows it verbatim. But I'm like, don't say there's...
Hey guys, welcome to the Sonic Movie Show.
But she's like, there's no infection. I'm like, hold on a second. You did not check the rest of this boat. And actually, there are dead zombie dogs there. You don't say this. Don't lie to any other people out there. You're lying right now. And then then Wesker tries to leave and blows up, and yay. And then the movie ends with umbrella helicopters glowing in.
The army. Literally their army.
It's like,
from somewhere.
Okay.
And
then mid-credit scene shows some woman. I don't know who she's supposed to be.
I don't even remember that. Maybe I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch the
mid-credits?
mid-credits?
I had the credits on.
I kind of skipped through. Basically, it's like in one of those planes or carriers or helicopters, whatever. She's walking through, and it's one of those bad guy addressing the troops on what they have to do for the sake of exposition
you're right.
for the
I was
audience.
Like, that's why I don't remember it, because I was like, who? I was already done with the movie.
And she wasn't convincing. She wasn't threatening. It was just supposed to be a reveal, and who knows or cares?
It's obviously Miss Resident Evil.
Mrs. Resident Evil. Oh, no.
No way.
And then at the end of the movie, looked at the other ones that were recommended.
No, this will be fun. Fine, I'll do it myself.
That one was real. Now this will be fun was not him.
I still to this day don't remember I remember we looked it up the one day and we couldn't find
it. That is 100% a line you've heard many times when you and I played Hearthstone, because one of the base cards says that when you play it. But Thanos never said that.
I wanted him to, though.
He never said that. Josh Brolin never uttered those words.
I'm sure he said
in
it
his whole life.
He's old.
In his whole life.
He probably was like, his wife's yelling at him, or arguing about taking out the trash, and he's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
I mean, yeah, he said that. Happened. But he's never
counts.
uttered. He's never uttered, this will be fun. Never uttered, now this will be fun in his whole life. Guarantee
I'm going to have him on the show one day.
Guarantee
and say this will be fun.
Guarantee
I'm going to have him say it. Prove you wrong.
Guarantee it. But this will be fun because I want to now predict what the next movie's going to be like. This movie ends with their boat, last known civilization as far as we're fucking concerned.
At least on the West Coast, yeah.
Who knows? I feel like, again, the jump from the second and third movie was like, everyone's alive to no one's alive.
Because she was in Japan. She clearly went to Russia because her jacket had acrylic on it. So she's been there. Clearly nothing there. She's been to Alaska. She went down. She didn't see nobody except for this building. So, yeah, at this point, I think everyone dead.
Everyone is dead.
She was in the desert,
and
she only found a bus full of people. So.
And now the Umbrella Corporation is just flying in with helicopters to get them. So what do you think the next movie is going to be? Or at least opened with? What do you think the next movie...
I don't even want to say what it's going to be. I can at least maybe tell you what it's going to open with. I think they're going to get captured, and they're going to be brought somewhere, and there's going to be... It's just going to be another breakout movie. At least in the beginning. At least in the so far, I can't predict anything anymore, because I don't know what they're thinking in the writer's room. I feel like Anderson just, like, smokes pot or something before each time he writes a script. He's like, what am I going to have my wife do this time?
Whoa, yeah. When were they married? I want to look this up.
When were they married? I think at this point they got to be married, right? I would think.
Let me Google this. Wedding date, August 22nd, 2009. They were married by the release of this film.
This is their honeymoon, bro. This is their honeymoon. They wanted to cruise.
They got married during filming, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, or right when they wrapped up. I don't know. Yeah, I think they're going to get captured, and there's going to be some sort of, like, breakout from some facility or something. Maybe they do tests on her again.
Yeah.
Or the other people.
Oh, my God.
I think it's going to be...
What if they just give her powers back in the next one? It's like...
Oh, my God. That could be. That could be it. That's not out of the question. That's not out of the question.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Or they're going to run away. That's the one thing we didn't think about, is that some way they're going to escape. Like, there's going to be like a...
Or they're good
plane.
guys.
Wasn't there the escape plane on there? They get on that, and they dip. And they crash land in somewhere in Oregon. I don't fucking know. That's my two options for you. They're either captured or they're not captured.
I think they'll be captured.
And I think one of them is... if they don't get captured, they're on the run. They crash land somewhere.
It could be a thing where
at least in the beginning,
all of those people they saved are now dead, except for Claire and Alice and Chris. You know, because these are, the people that we have now. There is a chance that this next movie could be all of the things that the last movie, Extinction, was kind of setting up, where it is all just actually about her and the Umbrella Corporation and ending it all. Granted, there's one more movie after the next one called The Final Chapter. But, like, there's a chance. Am I expecting it? Not really, but at the same time, like, 2010, are they really expecting that they can just, again, for the fifth movie, do another standard zombie stuff? The next movie would come out in 2012. So they clearly started it right away, production on the next one.
Walking Dead was around 2009, then you had World War Z around 2012, I think.
I Am Legend.
So, like, zombie movies were peaking.
Yeah.
Peaking at this point.
100%. Nonetheless.
So maybe they stick with that formula just because of what's hot.
Yeah. Wow.
Because even like the last couple movies, they didn't have as many zombies. I feel like this one brought a lot of the zombies back.
Yeah.
At least in terms of on screen and shit.
Well, I keep dropping pens. In any case, is there anything else left for us? Is there anything left for us to say about this film? I enjoyed it, but I thought it was dumb. But at the same time, I'm like, my expectations are so low that I did have a good time.
They're low, and I didn't have a good time. So, I don't know. I just feel like I've seen what they were trying to do in other films that came out way before this, so much better. So I'm kind of just like a little bored, where I'm like, my expectations are low. Some of the action's cool, some of the monsters are cool. But there's been other movies I've seen before this movie came out that just did it so much better. It's okay to take inspiration from them and try to do what they did, but at least change it up a little bit or do something that feels fresh. It didn't feel fresh for me. I'm a little just like not looking. I'm actually not looking forward to the next one, to be honest.
Really?
And that's kind of disappointing because after the first movie, I was like, okay, this could be cool. I hope all the movies are like this. Sometimes they bring back the soundtrack. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they bring back these characters. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes she's a god with mind powers. Sometimes she ain't. Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm just so fascinated by this whole thing that I'm like, sure. Sure.
I'm more just curious, like, how do these keep getting made? That's where I'm at this point.
300 and $300
like,
million
I need to know,
that's why.
I want to know who's seeing them and like what they're like, because even like if you look up the review scores, like they're not, like it's not even that good even for like user reviews. That's why I'm curious. Like, someone keeps coming to the theater and seeing them. Clearly.
Okay, well, this has been another episode of the Sonic Movie Show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed this film. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter and let us know what you thought about the movie at Sonic Movie Show. I am on Twitter at Ethan, absolutely, and Devin is on Twitter at CURSONAFUN. I almost said YouTube. Cursona Fun, that's his name on there.
You're on a good streak. You're on a good streak.
Thank you. I start to say it, and I'm like, no, start to say it, because, you know, I got like 70 episodes of saying it. You know what I mean? I gotta work it out a little bit, but I feel like I've done a good job.
I'm gonna change it again, and after 70 episodes, keep you on your toes.
I mean, hey, why not, right?
Yeah.
Name it Cursona Devin or Devin Fun. You just keep
Devin
YouTube.
Fun, host on the Sonic Movie Show. It's that long, very long one.
I don't even know what the cap is, but we'll see you next time.
I think it's like 20 characters.
Probably.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye. 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 Next time.